Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and a fifth game between Liquid Tyler and Root Drewbie here in the Xel'Naga Caverns. We have Liquid Tyler spawning as the green Protoss player on the south side of the map. Meanwhile, we have Root Drewbie spawning on the north side of the map as the red Terran. So this is Terran versus Protoss here in the Xel'Naga Caverns. Terran versus Protoss, one of those classic matchups now, as I've been casting a lot of these games. I try to avoid mirror matches, and then if there's no mirror matches, then you pretty much only have three matchups. And I guess sitting behind me going all super Spanish mode on the phone. All right, so yeah, Root Cats, one of Drewbie's teammates, just talking behind him and yeah, having a little bit of fun. Anyway, so this is Liquid Tyler versus Root Drewbie. We've seen and cast, and I've cast a lot of games between these two players already. I am interested in seeing how this game goes. We now see Root Drewbie setting up a supply depot here, and I like the placement on the supply depot as it allows for a barracks to be placed down here. And then if you need to, you can raise and lower up the supply depot as needed in order to try to deal against any zealots if there is any proxy pylon play. We see Root Drewbie opening up with a standard 13 or 12 racks. Meanwhile, Tyler opening up with the standard 13 gateway, I believe. Yeah, 13 gateway, going more for an economic game. He will be getting an assimilator in just a second, and now send this probe back to mining, and Liquid Tyler will have a very strong economic advantage just because SCVs need to be next to the buildings as they're building them, and also both players are doing some scouting. So we now see what Drewbie down 2 SCVs in terms of mining compared to only Liquid Tyler's 1 at this point. In comes the probe trying to get some damage onto that SCV. SCV down to 25 hit points, may take one more hit, but now getting double teamed by Stevie and his brother. And now Stevie the SCV, I know I haven't used that in a while, and now it back away moves this one probe. One SCV activating this Xel'Naga watchtower here as we are getting that cybernetics core. So pretty standard build. After you see the assimilator, you know that the Protoss player will be going for that cybernetics core because it doesn't make sense not to have a cybernetics core as a Protoss player. We now see one SCV just wandering around on the inside here, looking to do some scouting, and now we see a second assimilator. So Tyler going for more of an a tech game now, going for double gas, and this is double gas very early on. Back over here, Drewbie hasn't gotten a refinery of his own, and it looks as though he will be setting up a command center up on this high ground. So a command center up on this high ground, he will be able to lift up his building, coming over here, call in some additional meals, and try to get a strong economic lead. SCV now running out of here, getting the heck out of dodge as a zealot wants some SCV blood, will not be able to catch up to it. And that one zealot should just turn around after that SCV loses, after he loses sight, is just going to stand back over here. We are all now getting sentries, so we are now going for sentry zealot. I am surprised that Tyler, if he is going for sentries, why he isn't trying to train up more and more sentries at this very moment. Protoss units are very strong with gateway units are very strong as long as they have sentry support. Sentry support allows the Protoss player to split apart their opponent's army, deal a lot of damage, and reduce the amount of damage that Terran Marines deal. We now see a 4 racks build coming in from Drewbie, so this is going to be a very heavy racks build play, and interesting placement on all of these buildings as there's not enough room. Marines can actually get stuck in between these buildings. If another tech lab is being placed down over here, we now see a bunker being placed on the front door. And now with a bunker and now a command center, is this going to be upgraded to an orbital command? It perhaps should be, in order to be able to mine even more effectively off of one base. Back here, one SCV just making to see if there is an expansion being set up over here. This one SCV kind of spazzing out by the mineral patch, not sure what he can really do there. Back here, we now see a 3-gate with a robotics facility. There are those sentries that I was talking about earlier. Is he getting more sentries? Yes, more sentries. Sentries early on in order to get a lot of energy for Guardian Shields, in order to get a lot of energy for Force Fields. So very important unit, a part of that, part of the Protoss army. As an observer now makes its way out, we now see there it was that one SCV. SCV did see the Nexus currently being warped in there, and that was absolutely critical by Drewbie to be able to see that there was an expansion now being set up, so he knows that his opponent isn't going all in one base play. But by the looks of it, though, you can see that Liquid Tyler will be able to macro up a very decent sized army in a relatively short amount of time. More sentries now coming in. That SCB was able to spot how many sentries were on that ramp, and now in comes an observer. So an observer now moving out, and now in comes this orbital command as well. So orbital command, and now getting that second refinery and an engineering bay. So engineering bay trying to reveal any of those observers that are in the air. Drewbie most likely wants to make sure that those observers do not get a free sight or a free show on the Marines and the location. Marines now moving around. The observer does realize that he is a little bit revealed, and too bad Marines just can't blindly shoot into the air and try to shoot them down, perhaps randomly hitting the observer. But then what would be the reason for having any cloaking research at all? We now see more supply depots being built along the backside, making it very difficult for any drops to happen on that location. And production-wise, I don't see any missile turrets, but we are going into a double forge play. Double forge obviously meaning that he's trying to go for more upgrades, and with those upgrades, Protoss armor, Protoss shields, and perhaps also getting a robotics bay for Colossus. Colossus are very strong, and allowing them to deal a lot of damage, especially across infantry units. There's that Protoss ground armor and Protoss weapon, and Protoss ground and armor level 1 weapons upgrade on each, both being chrono boosted. And so both of those chrono boosts are able to shave off 1 second of time, or 10 seconds of build time and research time there. So instead of taking 160 seconds, it takes 150. And with a lot of energy between these two nexuses, he should be able to just continue to chrono boost and get a lot of research down. We now saw a Sienna sweep coming in from Drewbie. Drewbie doesn't see these forges over here, so that is going to be a little bit of an issue, as we are also going into a Twilight Council. Observer still in the air. Marines do not have that combat shield just quite yet. Level 1 infantry upgrades as Marines and Marauders take down these rocks here. So the destructible rocks at the gold mineral patch will get taken down in just a second. Marines, for some reason, spacing out, not quite sure that they do want to try to take down these rocks. Finally, some of them, yeah, there's still this one over here just wandering around, never ever lent a finger in trying to take down those rocks there. Back here, we now see Marauders, SCVs, and now more barracks still being placed down. So Drewbie going into very, very heavy infantry play. He should lift off that starport, go into double medevac as well, and without any Colossus, he should be pretty safe. If we do see what the Twilight Council is in play, we might get some some High Templar, and he will need Ghosts in order to counter that. One Marine now on the move. Zealot charge already or nearly completed. Level 1 weapons upgrade. Level 1 ground upgrade nearing completion, as well as double medevacs are now being trained up. We should be getting the level 2 weapons upgrade and the level 2 armor upgrades in moments as well. There's the level 2 weapons upgrade. Level 2 armor may follow closely behind. Yeah, there we go. So 2 upgrades with chrono boost on both. So that is going to become very, very strong as well. Zealots will have that Zealot charge in just a second. And Zealots almost move as quickly as Stalkers when they're not charging. So that's one of the reasons why you want to get that Zealot charge. It keeps your Protoss gateway ball very, very tightly packed together. Normally you want those Zealots in the front though, so you still have to do a little bit of micro to ensure that that happens. One factory in the air, gaining sight across the map, and now Stalkers are going to quickly come in and perhaps try to shoot it down. And yeah, that factory taking some damage already, pulling back. Zealots have been exposed. Sentries are now going to join in on the action as those Zealots are upgraded 1-1. We are now getting also the Stalker Blink upgrades. So it is going to be full gateway units versus full barracks units. Infantry with some medevac support. Who will win out? Someone said I was biased in saying that I believe gateway units have a little bit of an advantage with those sentries. And I'll see if my bias is true or not, or whether or not these 2 high-level players will be able to come in. We now see medevacs coming in from the backside though. So Drewbie coming in with a drop, and this may become a problem as those Stalkers do not have Stalker Blink just quite yet, but no, this drop is going to be easily handled. Maybe 1 pylon will go down at most, but that is pretty much it. And 1 Stalker was taken down, 1 Zealot shot down as well, and it looks like we're going to lose some medevacs. Down goes that medevac, and now down goes the rest of those units there. We now see a massive bile ball hanging around over here. There are a lot of units still on this front door though. So Tyler reacting appropriately, not sending the entire army, but a very, very rather small group there. And now Stalkers once again trying to get more damage here. It looks like that medevac, gonna get shot down after the Stalker Blink has finished researching. We now see a group of units coming in from over here, and now in comes that scanner sweep, realizing how large that army is. And that is going to be a problem, deciding to pull away, realizing that he cannot hold on to that fight there. And now pulling back. Production-wise, we are getting more medevacs, and now the level 3 weapons upgrade. So I believe that the Protoss army is simply gonna be much, much stronger, even if just because of those upgrades. 2-2 upgrades compared to, I believe, 1-0 upgrades. And yeah, this infantry army doesn't stand a chance. In comes that Guardian Shield, and those Marines are only gonna be able to do, like, what? Only deal 2 damage per attack against those Marines, against any units that are in that Guardian Shield. Stalkers now engaging back and forth. There's those force fields that I was talking about. Stalkers are going to be able to finish off some of those medevacs there, and now those Marauders and Marines in a very, very tight ball. You can see how effective that Guardian Shield is at reducing the amount of damage that those Marines were doing at all, and dealing essentially none, only 2 damage per attack against the armor of those Stalkers. Now in comes some more sentries. SCVs joining in on that fight as well. Marines and Marauders. There's more force fields coming in, and SCVs have nowhere to run. This one planetary fortress is not being repaired, and it looks like it may get shot down as well. Mules need to start repairing that. Otherwise, the planetary fortress will be lost, and down it goes. Stalkers and sentries once again on the move, but that upgrade just absolutely perfect. 2-2 upgraded Stalkers, sentries, and Zealot, and more force fields coming in from behind. SCVs want to get in on the action, but unable to, and Drewbie says GG. So yeah, very, very well played by Tyler. Tyler was able, once he was able to shoot down 2 medevacs, he knew that he had at least superior forces in an army count again compared to Drewbie. On top of that, he also had 2-2 upgrades against 1-0 upgraded infantry units. When you take a look at the Marine only deals 7 damage per attack. You know, but the benefiting factor of a Marine is that it attacks very, very quickly. It does not work very well against high armored units though. So when those sentries threw up those Guardian Shields, adding an additional 2 armor to the Stalkers and the Zealots, once the shields were depleted, those Marines were only able to deal 2 damage per attack against a Zealot. So yeah, that is very, very low damage. Those Marauders also were only able to deal 5 damage in attack. So even though in that last fight with that pocket, it looked like there was a lot of Marines and a lot of Marauders trying to fight back, trying to clean up those Zealots and those Stalkers, the sheer amount of armor that those Guardian Shields were able to provide simply added to Liquid Tyler's victory. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between Liquid Tyler and Root Drewbie here in the Xel'Naga Caverns.